First of all, I want to thank you, NoNameCon organizers, for this wonderful opportunity. It's great to. I'm very glad to be here with you and presenting this and speaking with you. It's great, and thanks. And hello, everyone who is watching. So my topic will be cyber attacks against Georgia, which happened in 2019. There was a lot of cyber attacks against Georgia in last 12 years, but I will specifically talk about last year's attack because it's interesting not from a technical point of view, but from political point of view more. And also, I would like to talk a little bit about Georgian cybersecurity landscape. We made a research about internet security level of Georgia, of the country, and I want to share a couple of information from this too. As Sergey already told, I'm from Georgia. You can find this. You can find me on LinkedIn. I work at the bank currently, and also I work at my own company at Cyberhouse. So we do information security stuff like security, audit, consulting, so on. And also we have our own product, Cyber+G, which is cyber hygiene platform. And let's continue with our talk about cyber attacks against Georgia. So last year in October, there was a cyber attacks, and this cyber attack had global, it was reported in BBC, CNN, for like a couple of days. A lot of news, foreign news were talking about it. Georgia was in a cybersecurity buzzword, and it was reported that 15,000 websites was hacked. It's a huge and can you imagine 15,000 websites hacking simultaneously? And on one hand, it was very well publicized, this event, but on the other hand, we don't really have a lot of information about this attack. I mean, there is not. If you just Google, try to Google and try to understand more about these attacks, you cannot find any technical report about it. You just find the news that 15,000 websites were hacked, and a lot of websites were defaced. And there was a message with former Georgian President Mikheil Saakashvili, picture of him with title "I'll be back." Left on the hacked websites. It was defacement. So it's interesting what happened really. What happened really is that, as I said, public sources say not much, but in reality, one hosting provider was hacked. And this hosting provider has a lot of different internet services, and they have 15,000 customers. And that's why this number was reported that 15,000 websites were hacked. In reality, it was not the case. 15,000 websites weren't hacked. Were hacked only one service provider, and up to 300 websites defaced. So it was a mass deface. They hacked just one company, and this company had security issues for a long time. Whoever worked with them, they knew that they had some issues in security, and most probably the attackers did not use anything very sophisticated, and they did not use any 0 days attack, 0 days, or very advanced malware, which was not which was new and no one knew about it. We think that it was not very easy, but relatively easy to get into this company and hack these 300 websites. On the other hand, it's very interesting. Why did they do in October? For example, this year it's elections in 2020, but 2019 it was not any particular happening back then. No political crisis in Georgia, but this hack had a political message because they put a picture of former Georgian President Mikheil Saakashvili there with "I'll be back," and the hack itself did not have this in Georgia itself did not have much consequences rather than this picture, and probably there was some theories who have done it and who was behind it. From information security perspective, the people who are in the field of information security, the most important thing from information and cybersecurity perspective back then in Georgia was that law on information security was introduced in the parliament. It was update from the 2012 law, and in the parliament there was a new draft law drafted. So there was a theory that the government wanted this law to pass very much, and that's why they somehow organized this hacking and say that we have a very bad situation from cybersecurity point of view, and that's why we have to improve cybersecurity and give like Georgian security services a lot of power in cybersecurity field. But yeah, this was just a theory. No technical information or no technical clues were made public. Georgian police was involved in the investigation, but they did not give out any technical details. And also there was an idea that it was covered up for larger and stealth attacks. And this is not this larger and the other attacks wasn't also publicized, but from like internal sources we know that some of the smaller companies were hacked also, and their mail systems were used to target other bigger companies. And it was also in October. Also in October, shortly before and after the cyber attack, there was attacks on Georgian TV stations. 2 or 3 TV stations were attacked. One TV station wasn't able to communicate to the public for several hours. Another TV station lost all the recordings which they made like in 2019, and they had like huge problems. On the other hand, these attacks on these TV broadcasters probably were like ransomware attack, generic ransomware attacks. There is no clue that it was organized by foreign force or someone, but still. And next big like outbreak about this attack was in March, in the beginning of March, when suddenly one day United States and UK led the diplomatic effort condemning Russia and more specifically GRU, military surveillance agency of Russia, for organizing attacks against Georgia in October. And UK National Cybersecurity Center said that they were almost certain that it was GRU. USA and other countries followed, like Norway, Czech Republic, Poland, Estonia, Lithuania, Netherlands, and so on and so on. Like at the same time, there was like 40 countries condemning Russia for the attacks. And at this point, we hoped that there would be some kind of technical report, some kind of indication and like clues that it was really done by Russia, but nothing. So just countries condemning Russia and saying that it was organized by Russian guys. On the other hand, there are some unanswered questions which people involved in cybersecurity will definitely ask. For example, GRU is known for their very advanced malware and the advanced techniques and sophisticated techniques to attack. And why did they attack on this time in October 2019? Then no political pressure was there. I don't know. Nobody knows. People just have for the moment theories. So this attack was used like politically. It had political context, but there are still a lot of questions which need to be answered, and still no technical issues and no technical stuff to. No technical details about this attack. Some people say that it was this diplomatic effort which was clearly organized, probably clearly was organized by United States and the United Kingdom, because it was at the same time like 12, 30 or 40 country doing some political announcements. But they said that it was used for deterrence against GRU and FSB. You know, Russia has a huge history in interfering elections of other countries. You know the story of American elections of 2016, and it's election year in Georgia this year, and it's election year in USA this year. So probably it was like this diplomatic effort was like deterrence step against Russia, not to warn them not to meddle with the U.S. elections or any other elections this year, which they love to do. And this also just confirms that cybersecurity is a hot international political issue. It's not like technical issue, but it's a political issue, cybersecurity. If like 10 years ago, it was political issue from cyber espionage perspective, there was like a lot of attacks and stealing technological and technical know-how and information. Now it's like about information warfare, meddling in the elections. So this scope changed, and this cyber attack also confirms that. But we know that GRU and FSB are not usually deterred by these political announcements and this political pressure, and probably, and if you just check the opinion of experts, like everyone expects that there will be some activity in Georgia in October, before and after elections, during elections, and also in the United States in November elections. So it will be interesting what happens. After this attack, it was very interesting to check. We had also, before that, I want to mention cyber attacks against Georgia in 2008. In 2008, Georgia had war with Russia. It was conventional war, and in parallel of this conventional warfare, there was cyber attacks against Georgia during the wartime in August, which totally made impossible for Georgian governmental and media organizations to function. So, and these attacks in 2008 probably was organized by Russian government, but these attacks were not sophisticated. It was very easy attacks, easy to implement and easy to exploit, and because Georgia had like zero cybersecurity back then, and it showed these attacks in 2008 showed that Georgia has like zero level of cybersecurity. And last year, then the cyber attacks happened. We were interested what can someone like organized in Georgian internet some kind of attacks which will have like big consequences, but like with smaller effort. We know that GRU and FSB and other, like apart from Russia, other countries have like cyber capabilities. They can write very sophisticated malware and so on. But can someone make like organized countrywide attack easily? And we decided to do some kind of research on Georgian internet and like research internet security landscape. And we decided to research with totally open source tools. We use tools which are like freely available on the internet. You can just download from there, on GitHub, from GitHub or from developers' websites. And report is freely available here. Unfortunately, it's only in Georgian for the moment, but all the technical information is in it. The charts are in English, so if you just go to this link, it will be. I think it will be fully understandable, the results of this research. And also, we gathered some data from Shodan. Shodan is not open source, but with like $50, you can buy access to Shodan, and a lot of data will be available for you, which in turn is gathered by Shodan itself. So what we researched is that SSL TLS vulnerabilities, NTP vulnerabilities, vulnerable mail servers, SMB, and different technologies which are used in the country. And we wanted to know is there any like big gaps in security? And what we find is that I just bring just very shortly just a couple of findings. And 71 servers have had at least one SSL TLS vulnerability, and out of this 71, more than half had higher critical SSL TNS vulnerabilities. And I can imagine that in these servers are some very critical websites which have like governmental data, personal data, financial data, and you can imagine that with high critical SSL/TLS vulnerabilities, this data is like not easily accessible, but possible, fairly easily possible to gather this data from these websites. So it should be noted that it was a big improvement from 2018. We had some open source data of some independent researcher in Georgia gathered the SSL TLS data in 2018, and there was a big improvement from 2018. Probably these widespread cyber attacks made Georgian like smaller companies think about their data and their customers and their liability, and they improved somehow. And next interesting thing which we found out was potential for DDoS attacks with DNS amplification or NTP amplification attacks. And we checked for DNS recursive servers and also NTP servers which had some vulnerability which could be used for the NTP amplification attacks. And we understood that we estimated that only with Georgian resources, it's possible to do 4 gigabit per second attack. And as I remember, it's the largest site like DDoS attack last year was like 19 gigabit per second. 4 gigabit is like much smaller, but if we like look at the experience of Georgian companies itself, it will be possible to tear down any and like stop any services in Georgia, because Georgia is like a small country and we don't have this it's not very much developed this anti-DDoS or cloud like protections for against DDoS attacks. So this will be enough to attack even big Georgian companies. As I mentioned, during the October 2019, Georgian mail servers were hacked by some companies, and we discovered that there are still a lot of mail servers which are accessible online and have critical vulnerabilities. And in critical vulnerabilities, I mean that it's very easy to exploit. There are automated tools there, and it's just easy to get access to these mails. We understood that WannaCry is still actual. This attack was like 3 years ago. It was using the long deprecated SMB vulnerability in long deprecated SMB version 1, but it's still actual, and it's some SMB servers are even accessible like from the internet. And from technology point of view, it was very interesting that 3% of websites in Georgia are using Yandex Metrika. Yandex is a Russian company, and Yandex Metrika is a tool which gathers browsing information like Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics, but it can gather a lot of information. And Yandex is a Russian company, and Russia is like a country which is not reliable. And we know that a lot of Russian companies have to cooperate with Russian security services. So for what's next steps for us? We are thinking to spread this research to other countries in the region, and maybe add some more technical details. We're still gonna use only open source tools and what is like openly available information. We are not scanning any. We are not doing any intrusive scans or whatever. We are just gathering the data, what's on the surface. And by this very simple research, it can be shown that there is a lot of vulnerabilities which can be found on the internet, specifically in this case in the country of Georgia, and it's very easy to find even critical vulnerabilities and use these critical vulnerabilities to attack companies. Yeah, it's a very sad story on this. So that was my like talk, very brief, and I would like to answer questions if you have any.
Oh,
I will like.
Yeah, thank you, Mikheil, for this interesting talk. Thank you for sharing this research with a lot of interesting technical information. Of course, we have a bunch of questions for you from our Q&A session. And if you're ready, I will start. So the first question I see is the same question as we asked Konstantin about Ukraine. Now, let's talk about Georgia. What are the worst current threats to Georgia government cybersecurity now? Attackers, insiders, or bad security culture? And as I remember, Konstantin said that bad security culture is the worst for Ukraine. What about Georgia?
Okay, I'll try to bring some examples. In 2008, as I mentioned, it was very not sophisticated, very easy attacks, totally blocked Georgian governmental agencies because we had zero level of security. We had no security culture. We had no technical security levels up. So, but after that, there was like two big attacks in Georgia, organized probably by Russian security services. One was Gearbot, and ESET made report about this. You can find it on the internet. And another was APT28. APT28 is, as I remember, GRU APT, and they hacked into Georgian government, and they used several sophisticated techniques. In this case, the main culprit was that they got into governmental agencies by with phishing, with employee phishing. Then they used some zero-day attacks against operating system, against Microsoft Office, and then the lateral movement and blah 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 and so on and so on. But the main culprit, I think, in the world, in every country, is lack of cyber. Like human is the still weakest link. On the other hand, if we like dwell on the experience of last year's attack, this like company, hosting provider, which was hacked, hosted some websites, some governmental websites. And as I mentioned, this hosting provider had some security issues. Governmental agencies still decided to host their website with them, and they were very easily attacked. This just shows that some governmental organizations just did not pay enough attention to their cybersecurity, did not check the like security level of their hosting provider, did not like made like very simple security scans on their websites or whatever. So it was just clear the negligence of security. Main threat, of course, is Russia, because we had experience of Russian attacks in the past. We expect it in the future, and the main threat is Russia. But on the other hand, there is a problem that from like technical point of view, our security is not is much better than in 2008, but it's not on the level of which is required in 2020. And I think in every country it's problem of human users. It's very difficult to even for like big rich companies who have a lot of security stuff. They try a lot to like rise awareness level, but even for them it's like difficult. For governmental agencies, it's much more difficult because they are understaffed, and they don't pay as much as attention as like private companies.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for such a nice answer. And one, I think, quite easy question. How do you think, do Ukraine and Georgia have similar InfoSec threats?
I think yes, because both countries have problems with Russia. So I think that that's a common denominator in this case, and it's a main similarity. On the other hand, the security level of Ukraine and Georgia are different. For example, we have not seen as sophisticated attacks in Georgia as in Ukraine. For example, in 2018 or 17, there was an attack against electrical power grid in Ivano-Frankivsk region, which was a very sophisticated attack. And as it seems to me, Ukraine is much more dependent on this like countrywide level of electric grids, of water supply, on information technology than Georgia. And I think that Ukraine, in this case, from this perspective, can be more vulnerable. Also, Ukraine has a much bigger attack surface. Of course, there is like much bigger country, and like Georgia is a smaller target. And we can, if you like research FSB and GRU operations, you can see that there are some like technique similarities. For example, from APT group, but in Georgia, it's like probably they aren't using as many 0 days as many like manpower or resources in Ukraine, because Ukraine has probably better security level. I think that yeah.
Thank you. And the next question, same as we asked Konstantin. Are there any countries which steps in cybersecurity Georgia should follow? Konstantin liked Finland as approach. What do you think?
That's a great question, because after 2008 cyber attacks in Georgia, government began thinking about improving cybersecurity. In 2012, they introduced law on information security, and they defined critical information infrastructure organizations, which was only governmental organizations. Like there was like up to 40 entities. But after 8 years of this law, we can say that this law was failed. Because by statistics, only like 6 organizations implemented its requirements and others did not. So this is like failure. And now they are updating this law, and they want to give powers to Georgian security service, because the argumentation is that security service has like manpower, human resources, financial resources, and capacity to ensure that governmental agencies will raise their security levels, and they can like demand from other governmental entities to raise security levels. There are risks. There was a lot of talks about these risks, that we are giving too much power to security services, and we were discussing a lot of examples from other countries. I don't know Finland's example, to be honest. I know like examples from United States, UK, Poland, Estonia, Germany, and these countries of course have models which like takes into account the country specifics. But the main thing is that, for example, in the United States, there is one governmental organization, NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technologies, who sets the standards, and there are other organizations who enforce the standards, and also there is some organizations who do the audits. So this kind of differentiation of powers is, I think, critical. There should be one entity which sets the standards, another who enforces, and the third one who just does the audit. And I think that, and the Georgian law does not have this. And everything is done will be done, if this law will be enforced, will be done by state security service. and which I think that isn't right and will not be effective also. Also in the UK, there is a GHCQ, which National Cybersecurity Center is a part of GHCQ, which is a security service, but on the other hand, the security service is part of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So there is a civil control and civil oversight over on these security services. So I think that the main point is that there should be some division of powers in cybersecurity regulation, and also there should be very clear civil oversight on whoever will be governing cybersecurity.
Thank you for your long but interesting answer. Yeah. And let me choose the next question. It is a question from Konstantin Korsun, and he asked, cyberhouse.je, is it a government agency or organization?
No, it's private organization.
Right. Okay. So the next one, do Georgia have something similar to our FRD activity?
No, actually, FRG was, as I remember, volunteer, right? Volunteer force.
Yep.
No, there is nothing in Georgia like this. We don't have.
Okay, so next one, Mikheil, are you expecting any big attacks related to the upcoming elections in Georgia?
From technical point of view, yes, we are expecting some kind of cyber activity. But as like last year showed, probably it's not necessary to do very sophisticated attacks to have big impact because of the security levels of the different organizations here. But on the other hand, we are expecting a lot of information warfare campaigns. I mean, campaigns in social media, in media which are controlled by some forces to disinformation campaigns, and it's for the moment it's going on even now, and we are expecting this to be very active before elections. And yes, we are expecting. I can say that we are expecting some cyber activity, cyber attacks. It will be logical continuation of last year.
Okay. The next one. What is happening in security education in Georgia at university, schools, some courses?
Actually, I graduated from Estonia because I graduated in 2012. Back then, there was nothing from cybersecurity point of view in Georgia, but now we don't have any bachelor's or master's in cybersecurity, but different universities have courses. I also taught some courses in different universities, like Introduction to Cybersecurity or Cybersecurity International Relations. And so we don't have one full program, but it's a popular topic now in Georgia, and universities try to include it and to have this they offering the courses, separate courses. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting mention in the chat that you pronounced Ivano-Frankivsk so perfect. Okay. Do you know Ukrainian?
No, I don't speak Ukrainian.
But it was really nice.
I'm still smiling. I'm still smiling, remembering that.
Yeah.
But the correct pronunciation is Stanislav. Did you know the original name?
Original name of.
A lot you can confuse our guests. So
yeah, okay. I'm going away.
This is very Ukrainian internal joke.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the question: do you have some center of trust for cooperation of government officers and cyber community?
There is a OWASP chapter in Tbilisi, which gathers once in a couple of months, and yes, this can be considered as some informal forum. Also, National Cert of Georgia organizes cyber exercises, and in the cyber exercises, both governmental and governmental sector and private sector are both involved. Like they invite IT security people and cybersecurity people from different larger organizations. So they meet in this place. And yeah, mainly it's organized by CERT GovG, which are doing a lot of work.
So a vast connecting people is beautiful.
Yes, yeah.
And let's talk about salaries. Is there a large difference in salaries for the commercial sector and government sector in Georgia?
Yes, it's there is a lot of difference. Also, I must say that there is huge gap in human resources. For now, like everybody is looking for IT security people, and every big organizations. Some organizations have like 6, 7 people of them, but they need more. If you are like large organizations have a lot of cybersecurity operations, so of course like private entities pay more than government, and that will be one of the challenges for governmental organizations to somehow find something else to get interesting people to work on. I myself worked for governmental organizations. Now I work in the private sector. So.
Yeah, we understand it. Yeah. So, and one more specific question: what do you think the fall of drones in Georgia was also the result of cyber attack or the sale of source code?
Fall of drones.
Fall of drones.
When?
Yep. I also do not know this news.
From
who is the
what?
Who is the author of this question? Okay. So yeah, if you
that
don't
was
know,
yeah, that was a question from a YouTube stream. So
okay.
I know nothing about fall of drones, but if the person that asked this question, can you follow up and tell us more details? Meanwhile, because there is a delay, so meanwhile, Mikheil, do you think that what is the often source of this kind of unpredictable events? Is it like a cyber attacks, or is it people just make mistakes? You previously said that people are everything, right? So security is connected with how people behave, but are cyber attacks so often in Georgia?
Today I talked about cyber attacks against government, but last 2 years was very active from cybercrime perspective too. Georgia is getting more and more online, in a sense that online financial services are developing very quickly, and a lot of people have internet banking, use internet banking, mobile banking, and last year was several waves of phishing attacks against people. On Facebook, and it was well organized. We were setting up some Facebook page, then some website, and they had even call center, and a lot of people in Georgia have the two-factor authentication, and there was these cyber criminals had call center, and for example, I have two-factor authentication, and I am lured into some phishing website, and now it needs they got my password, but they don't have SMS code. So on this call center, they were calling this customer. They are asking on Facebook their phone number. Then they're calling and asking for SMS and entering this on internet bank and changing their settings and so on and so on. And a lot of people were victims of this kind of crimes. And probably it was organized by foreign cyber criminals who came to operate in Georgia, and there were several arrests made. These waves are still continuing in 2020, but it's not at large scale as last year. Also,
wow,
there
that
was
was a real preparation to do that. I mean, set up call center, do all this work. That's a lot of effort.
Yeah, it was a lot of at least 4 or 5 people who were involved in these operations. And also we know that there are some very large international cybercrime groups active in Georgia and targeting Georgian financial institutions.
So like Georgia is like a member of, let's like, how to say it, criminal cyber world, right?
Yeah.
Like active member, because there are like a lot of things going on.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we didn't get more details about this fall of drones. And like in YouTube stream, we have a lot of things going on, and people are asking like, give us the proofs. What are you talking about? So, okay, I see a comment right now. There was some story about war in Abkhazia that was not covered a lot in media. That drone that was bought by Georgia from Israel just got like fall down at the same time, all of drones. Do you know anything about that?
Okay. It was probably in, not in Abkhazia, but in war during 2008. And as I know, this what was written in public sources. I think Russians, I don't know how, but they got the like control codes of these drones or something. And they were able to hack these drones and get them down, as I remember.
So like official media covered that as a cyber attack, right? Okay. Okay, thank you. I hope this answers. I hope this answers the question. But yeah, this kind of we got it's a very interesting kind of part in our discussion. But unfortunately, I don't see any more questions right now. Honestly saying, Mikheil, we had like 12 or even like 13 questions for you. So you just answered them one by one. That's a lot of attention from our attendees. Thank you for your talk. Let's then wrap up. Yeah, thank you again. It was really interesting. And, again, like after you answered all these questions, especially when you talk about Georgia and Ukraine, I kind of feel that from this perspective, from this point of view, we share a lot of similarities in cybersecurity. Like
yes, I do. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see what will happen in a year, and let's hope that
everything will be fine.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you a lot.